Welcome, dear viewers, to today's special episode of Words Unveiled, author conversation with White Falcon. I am Nancy, and I couldn't be more excited to have the incredibly talented Dr. Sazina Khan with us today. Not only she's a celebrated poet, but she's also a woman who has mastered the art of weaving emotions into words that linger long after you have closed the book. Her latest poetic masterpiece, Echoes of Heart, a collection of poems, is already making waves. So let's get into the inspiration, the journey, and sheer essence behind these moving poems. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to our episode today.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for giving me such a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, Dr. Khan, you are quite the academic powerhouse with multiple degrees and certifications under your belt. So, I'm almost afraid to ask, how do you even find time to write?
It's not impossible as the word itself. There's no impossible word for me because impossible also has possible in it. So I would say it's just the time management and prioritizing what needs to take the privilege. If you have the writer's time, so just focus on that. And if there's a family time, so drawing a perfect balance between professional and personal life, that's the way I go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And how has this rich educational journey influenced your writing and perspectives?
Again, look at education. What is education? It's not collection of degrees, but the knowledge that you gain from different sources or the plethora of people that come across you. So I would say that every degree or every educational engagement has been a learning platform for me where I have met with different people. And as you meet across different people, you see different emotions and different introspections which leads you to write. So I would say that that is a journey which makes you a better of an author because you're meeting people, you're exploring new world. At the same time, a lot goes back on reflection. So education also allows you to reflect, which is quintessential for any writer.
Absolutely, and it gives a unique lens through which you can view the world in your own way.
Definitely, I agree with you.
Yes, ma'am. So this is your third book, following 16 years of writing. That's quite a journey, right? So how has your writing evolved over the years, and what role has your family played in this evolution?
Again, I would say you're absolutely right. This is the third book which came out and it became the bestseller like the previous ones as well. Now, again, I would say that as you remarked clearly that it's a 16-year of journey. But then writing actually started in high school where I started writing short stories and poems. It was with the help of my parents, so probably it was my mother because, she would come and talk about few things that, oh, this thing happened. Did you reflect on it? Oh, this has happened. Do you reflect on what Congress is? That time we had Congress. So what the politics is happening and how things are happening around us. So, those kind of interactions within the family itself gave wings to my writing. And at the same time, I started, being in Chandigarh, I had the leverage of getting it published. Or probably we had those small sections where we could get our articles published in Indian Express, Hindustan Times. So that is how it started getting published. And I remember the first publication, the first small article which came out, I was just in grade 4. So, when you have that kind of exposure at that early age, you start writing, and then it is with the love of the family and the motivation which you receive, you continue writing it. But in my case, I got married very early. I got married at 21 and moved to Dubai. It was with my husband's support that he really liked it. Oh, what have you written? Oh, did you write on it? And then there was a discussion around it. So it became part of the family that poetry was not my professional engagement, but it became the part of the tea. So it was always a discussion over the tea. So that's something how family motivated me to write. And now it's gone a further layer when my daughter is also interested in writing. And she herself is also international poetess.
Okay.
So it runs in the family and it dwells together.
Very nice. And definitely your family has been, such a strong source of inspiration for both personal and professional growth.
True.
Yes. So your poem, My Ultimate Man, beautifully captures your relationship with Haris, who is actually your real life partner. How did writing this poem help you express your deepest emotion and appreciation for him?
Again, Nancy, just to reflect a little back on this poem, it was not the first time that I was writing about my soulmate, but then it's really nice how this time in my this book I actually gave it a name, My Ultimate Man and Haris, because oftentimes, oh, they is it a metaphorical character or is it just superficial character? People would often ask me, but then people who don't know me much, they haven't seen me grow in real life, and it was, when I got married, I was 21, as I told you, and just a fresh graduate. So, with his support and motivation, I continued my educational journey, getting my full master's, and now I'm doing my double doctorate. I completed my first PhD, I'm doing my second one. So, men come in our life in different forms. There are some who come as critiques, there are some who come as teachers, and there are many who come as bullies.
Right.
So apart from these men, there's one character who comes in my real life as the main protagonist, I would say. Apart from the so many antagonists that you see in real life, he is my protagonist. And it was a gesture of just saying thank you for being there. So that is reflected through it. And it's quite nice to see when I wrote that poem, it was not only him, but many of my friends came forward and they said that, Sazina, you've just penned out our feelings for our men. Probably you've written it with your words, and I would like to read one of the messages which I got from my friend yesterday. She clearly wrote it. 1 minute, I still have it as my status. She clearly wrote here. From the first poem, you have my heart for your writing. I know it's just not a writing, but love for Rufy, that's the nickname he has. Perhaps it's a feeling of every married woman for his men. And the lines which I would like to quote from my own book is, through life's long road, both rough and smooth. So it clearly says that he has been there. He walked with her, their bonds to soothe. His love, a lantern in the night, guided them both towards the light. So that's how the journey of a couple is. And this is just reflected through my first poem in this book.
And that's so beautifully said. Writing something so personal and universal at the same time is really a true gift, ma'am. So, your previous works, The Chamber of Expression and From Shadows to Souls, were both critically acclaimed. Does Echoes of the Heart feel like a natural progression from those books, or did you find yourself exploring new territory?
Again, I would say in a poetess's life or an author's life, it's a natural progression. And as you write, you also evolve as a writer. So when I started writing the first one, which was a culmination of poems that I had collected over a decade. So that actually spoke about, I'm talking about Chamber of Expressions. I still have it. One of my favorites, because this is my first baby, So the first one always remains your favorite. So now this one, when I was talking about different angles, like what is gratitude, what is solitude, what is depression, and how it looks like. It basically focused on different feelings, emotional feelings, universal feelings.
Right.
Now, when I moved to the second one, which was From Shadows to Soul, when you're looking at it, it dwell deeper, where we were looking at every relation, Nancy, starts as a superficial level. Like you and I, we are talking right now, we are meeting for the first time. It's a very superficial relation. As you get to know someone, it gets deeper. So that's why the title said From Shadows to Souls. How you start at a superficial level, any relation, any kind of engagement, any kind of step you take in your professional growth, personal growth, that start at a very superficial metaphysical level. But as you move along, you explore multi-layers and multi-folds of it. And that's how you see that it dwells deeper with so many emotions. Now, the third one is more of Echoes of Heart. Now, when I say Echoes of Heart, it says it has personal resonances in it, definitely as an author, but it also talks about universal applicability also, because we are talking about how it is applied universally and how everyone associates with it. So whatever I write in the poems, one of the goal is to understand what people want to read, what people go through, and then the most important thing is vulnerability.
Right.
Not many writers or not many people are able to expose their vulnerability. So when you are exposing yours, you're also letting them to associate with it. Oh, I feel the same, but probably she just penned down my feelings. I've never written about it. But those kind of things, when you do, you're actually healing not only yourself, but you're healing many along with you.
Right. We
So
don't
that's the
express, yes, absolutely. We don't express also ourselves in regular life. We keep things with ourselves in many cases. So, also for readers, I think it is a blend of familiarity and newness is what makes your work so engaging. So, ma'am, one of my personal favorite from your new collection is Unspoken. The way you have captured silent gesture and hidden feelings is simply brilliant. How important do you think non-verbal communication is in real life? And how do you balance personal vulnerability with universal relatability in your work?
Thank you, Nancy. It's such a beautiful questions, and it seems in very well with our conversation right now. When you're talking about unspoken, it clearly reflects, like you have so many emotions which builds in us. We all have emotions which are building in us, but oftentimes we ignore them. We are like, we move on, and then you might ignore the small gestures that's happening around you, a small gesture of just an affirmation that came from your senior, or probably that came from your daughter or father or mother or a friend or a stranger. But then it's really nice to see those small things which constitute the bigger picture,
Right.
because if you let that small thing exposed, like you're able to acknowledge it, the most important thing is acknowledgement of emotions. If you have that, you overcome so many big things in a life. Like when you don't let those negative things dwell in you, you are getting away with the anxiety, with depression, and so many things. And I would also like to quote Maya Angelou here, because she says we are very much alike than being unalike. So she says that all of us have so many likeness in us and so many vulnerabilities which connects us together. But at the same time, we are shying out and saying. So unspoken actually speaks about those small gestures, those recognitions which we oftentimes ignore in our life. And that's why take a pause, think back what you really liked in a day, and just be happy about it. Just cheer up. Life is beautiful and we should look at the brighter side of it. That's the message behind Unspoken.
Absolutely, and that's so true. Non-verbal cues can be incredibly powerful. So, how do you think your daughters perceive your role as a writer? Do you see them following, as you have mentioned also in our initial discussion, they are following your footsteps, and how do you encourage their creative pursuits?
Again, we would, Nancy, you and I, or anyone else, the first inspiration that we draw from is our mother.
Yes.
We don't have to look at what her profile is. Probably she might be just a homemaker for others, but ask us what she meant for us. So same kind, similar message is from my daughter that I get. Oh, mama, you did a great job. Oh, mama, they were talking about you. I really liked how you were doing the book launch, because recently I had a book launch and it got a national recognition. So at that time, when you are setting them to learn better, to strive better, and as women, they have a stronger women in front of them to look at. They don't see the vulnerabilities of you, but they see one strong, confident woman standing in front who is achieving. So, you set the bar high, and then, mashallah, she's doing quite well. And she became an international poetess at the age of 11. So it's a natural bent from her. To be honest, I haven't done anything in that. There's no role of mine. But at the same time, I say that they learn from the things that they see around you. So that's how you should motivate them. And that's how silent motivations and affirmations. Now, if you see that your child has something nice in them, there's an innate skill that they want to flourish, not probably only writing, but you as parents should be keen observer what they want to write, what they want to express, and where they want to go. So let them feel what they are doing is nice, and just be their guide to the right path. So that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And do you have any advice for the aspiring poets who are trying to find their voices?
To be honest, I have been mentoring budding poets for more than a decade.
Okay.
So the first thing which I do is I do get, I'm talking about now, I'm in my late 30s. So anyone who comes to me in their early 20s or late 20s are kids for me. So when they come to me and they oftentimes ask that, what should we start with? Ma'am, what is your advice? So I would say that learn to absorb. Learn to first absorb what's happening around you, reflect on the things that's happening around you. But at the same time, seeking affirmation is really important as aspiring writers. Write, pen it down, reflect on it. But you should always know where you're seeking your inspiration from, where you're seeking three most important things, where you're seeking your inspiration from, when you're seeking it, and how you're seeking it. Because there might be many people who may lead you to dismay. But when I say lead you to dismay, they might give you wrong advices. So you should actually know, are you seeking the advice from the right person? Are you on the right track? So collecting your thoughts together is the first thing. And then writing it in the right manner and reflecting what is your audience, who are you writing for, and what is the purpose. Because ultimately writers don't only write for themselves. It's cathartic, but it's not only cathartic, because you're looking at the bigger picture where you're serving the humanity. So how are you serving the humanity? Because I believe pen has the most beautiful power that weapons don't have. So yeah, that's about it.
And also like how the end audience will perceive it, the content that you are going.
Exactly. Very true. So you should, that's what I said, that how you're reflecting on it. At the same time, who's your target audience? Now, when I say about target audience, one should be very careful that you're looking at people, you're looking at different age groups. So it should be clear, what is your message? What do you actually want to write? And what is the social message that you're conveying? At the same time, how is it going to be perceived? Taking care of being inclusive, you're not targeting any particular community. At the same time, you're also exposing what's happening around.
Right.
So weighing your words carefully is the most important thing. Like every single word has to be weighed. Read between the lines many times before you actually publish it, before you actually think that it's good to go. So, those kind of things has to be done by a writer.
Yes, absolutely. And we can take any advice from others also who all are in our networks. So yes.
Definitely.
Very well said.
Exactly. So again, when you are writing, you should also see who are your mentors. And when I talk about mentors, you're looking at the mentors from the same field, because there might be people who are giving you suggestions from all across who have no idea about what poetry is or how has poetry evolved. So, looking at historians or looking at poets, not only, now I would not limit you to only look at Indian poets, but then looking at the niche, like you're interested in only writing love poetry. So who do you want to write? Who do you want to reflect on? Probably you would like to look at P.B. Shelley. Or if you are into romance, you would like to look at Wordsworth. So start with the classics. And as you go on, you would also see many Indian writers in English. So then you draw a balance that you're seeking the right kind of advice and you're reading the right kind of source to develop your thoughts further.
Right, absolutely. So ma'am, before we wrap up, what's the next on the horizon for you? Any upcoming projects or new collections that we should be looking forward to?
Thank you for asking this question, Nancy. Just before your call, I was actually working with the White Falcon team. Now that's my favorite because they have been giving reality to all my dreams, to be honest. So I was just working with my publishing manager, Brijesh, and he was sending me the cover designs for my fifth book. So we just talked about my third one here. Yeah. Fourth one is going to be out next week, which is the 6th of September. That's my daughter's birthday. It's a 16th birthday. So people, they look at different types of gifts. So what I thought, let me give her something which remains with her forever, even after I am gone. So I actually dedicated my fourth book for her, and it's called Wounds and Wonders. So it's an amalgamation of all the bad memories. I won't say bad memories because they also leave a learning experience. So all the experiences which are not that sweet, but they are bittersweet. And then it talks about wonders of life. So it's amalgamation, and that's about the fourth one. And then the fifth one is already in process, which is called Through the Despairs. I'm also writing in Hindi these days, Hindi and
Okay.
Urdu. So they are upcoming. There are lots of things lined up. So yeah, it's heavy. I would say this summers I was invested in heavy writing, and there are few things which are lined up for this winter, actually.
Very nice. And we all are waiting for them. So, ma'am, before we wrap up, we go, I must ask White Falcon Publishing recently launched the Authors of India platform, which is an amazing initiative. How do you see this platform benefiting the literary community, and what excites you most about it?
Now, Authors of India, I have been interviewed for that, and I'm published there. To be honest, it's a real nice digital, because again, Nancy, we are living in a digitalized world. We don't get, I mean, in this dystopian world where we are stuck between the dichotomy of reading as well as the pragmatic goals which we are supposed to be meeting on the daily basis, we don't oftentimes get time to read and write. But then platforms like these are actually flourishing the writing community. Now, how does it beautifully look like? Because you have writers all across from different platforms. They are coming together, and they are being acknowledged, or they are being recognized for their work. It's like, the quote goes as diversity and integrity. So it's actually integrated. What are we integrated with? We are integrated with the love of writing, but it also talks about different types of writers who are coming there. So it becomes very important for a platform like that to be there in India. It's giving you a platform where you're coming across wearing various budding writers and various seasoned writers, and you're also looking at their previous collections. So it's your one-stop destination if you're looking for the authors of India, I would say.
And also, you will get genuine reviews regarding the books also that
Exactly.
are in market. So all the authors, I would request you to go and sign up now. Link is shared in the bio. And thank you so much for sharing your insights, ma'am, and experiences with us today. Your journey and work continue to inspire many, and we are excited to see the impact of Echoes of the Heart will have on readers around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for giving your time. It was really nice to chat with you. Have a nice day. Take care. Thank you so much.